welcome everybody. Welcome to our 2026 trip planning webinar. It's a bit of a Q&A session. It is a bit different to what we normally do for webinars. We've done a few series of webinars previously where we've explained things like the Camino and Mont Blanc and how cycling and walking trips in Europe work. But today, a bit of a different one. It's more of a Q&A session where we answer some of our most frequently asked questions from travelers, as well as live Q&A opportunity. So if you do have any questions during the presentation, feel free just to find the little Q&A box down below and enter your questions there. And after we've gone through the top 10 FAQs, I will ask them and pose them to Allie. So first off, let's just go for a bit of an introduction. Allie, you're the one behind all those the Australian newsletters, aren't you?
I am. We had a very funny question from someone the other day asking if I was real as opposed to AI. And I am real. I've been working here with UTracks for 10 years. And I've done quite a number of trips. I love active holidays. As you can see from these pictures, walking is my main specialty, but I have done a couple of our bike trips as well, which I love. My favorite thing is to be up in the mountains, though. So places like Mont Blanc, the Dolomites, Grand Paradiso, and most recently I did our Peak of the Balkans guided walk.
Yeah, so UTracks, we have about 500 and 500 and counting trips, and I think Allie's done at least half of them, haven't you?
I wish.
Yeah. And on the other hand, I'm Will. I do the marketing for UTracks, and here's the trips that I've been on. I've done the Tour de Mont Blanc, the full Camino Frances, and Croatia Bike and Sail. All trips which I thoroughly recommend. Okay. So we're going to get started with the top 10 questions from travelers. And the first one, Allie, as our lead salesperson, just tell us, how does a self-guided trip work?
Sure. So the self-guided trips are really well organized packages. So we are booking accommodation, we're booking luggage transfers so that you're only walking or cycling with what you need for the day. Many of our trips include meals, they could include transfers, some activities. All of the inclusions are listed on the trip notes under inclusions. So basically a really well organized package so that you guys can just go out and enjoy your walk or your cycle trip without having to think of any of those logistics.
Yep, exactly. And what would a typical day look like? So you'd wake up in the morning, have your breakfast.
Have your breakfast, park your suitcase at the hotel lobby, head off. It'll be picked up and delivered to your next accommodation. So it's there waiting for you. And you're following route notes, maps. These days, all of our trips have GPS apps. You might be packing your own lunch. We might be giving you suggestions on where to stop for lunch, that kind of thing. And so you're just really going out and enjoying the route. If you're cycling, you may be stopping at a vineyard or a chateau, enjoying these points of interest across the day at your own pace.
Yep. And then at the end of the day, when you get to your hotel, your luggage is all magically there. It's just like magic. Okay. The second one, just pertinent because can I build in rest days or extra nights?
Yes. So with most of our self-guided trips, you can add rest days if they're daily departing trips. Some of our itineraries run on a weekly basis or maybe just a couple of days throughout the week, in which case rest days may not be possible. So it is always good to ask in advance and double check with us. But the majority of our trips are self-guided trips are daily departing, and rest days can be booked in, and those need to be requested in advance as they affect the subsequent nights. So you can just add that request to your booking form. And we're always happy to give you recommendations for where to take those rest days based on, it might be because we've got really great upgrade accommodation in this town. It might be more historic with a larger city, more things to see and do.
Yeah. So flexibility is key. And if you've got any questions, just reach out to the team. They've probably been there or they've helped other passengers do these trips before. So Yeah, always a good idea to get in touch. Question number 3. What kind of accommodations are included?
Right. So accommodation across our trips is very varied. For example, on the right-hand side, we're looking at a picture of dorm rooms, which are typically found on the alpine treks, such as the Tour de Mont Blanc or the Dolomites. Dorm accommodation can range anywhere from 4 to a room to upwards 16. Lots of these alpine trips do have options to upgrade to private rooms as well. Um, and then on the left, we're looking at a hotel room on the Camino. So on the Camino, we use hotel rooms, bed and breakfast style properties, and across various trips, we do have options to upgrade as well. So, for example, the standard accommodations could be 2 and 3 star, and then there could be the option to upgrade to 3 and 4 star, or perhaps if we're in France, maybe chateaus, etc.
Yeah. And Ali, can you just explain about the star rating system in Europe? Because it is probably a bit different to what we know here in Australia and elsewhere, other parts of the world.
Yeah, that's a bit of a tricky question because, as people may be able to tell by my accent, I'm from Canada. I find that in Europe, the star quality is better than in North America and Australia. Um, so that goes for, I think, in Europe and the UK, the star quality is better. But aside from that, sometimes we prefer less to focus less on the star rating, but more on these properties that we've handpicked. So we've chosen them for their charm, the comfort, the hospitality of the host, perhaps the location on the trail, be it a cycle route or maybe on the pilgrim route. So we have handpicked all of these properties based on these kind of factors.
Yeah, exactly. It is a tricky one, isn't it? Because like a 3-star accommodation might have a fridge, but it might be well off the trail or really far away. Whereas a 2-star one is right on the trail. It's homely, it's charming, it's where you want to stay, but it is 2 stars. So,
Mhm.
yeah,
But usually, as you said, comfortable, charming,
yeah,
and yeah.
that's where we like to stay. And just to clarify, this one here in the middle here, it's on the Camino Norte. It's why you're seeing pictures of the sea. It's not in the mainland Camino one. Yeah,
Ocean view, nice.
yeah. And yes, next question, can I upgrade my accommodation?
Yes. So I touched on that a little bit just before. It's always well noted on our trip notes where there are options for upgrades. So, for example, the trip that you're looking at might say standard hotels 2 and 3 star, option to upgrade to 3 and 4 star, or standard hotels category B, option to upgrade to category A, and what that entails, option to upgrade to chateaus or rooms from dorms on alpine trips. So, across many of the accommodations, there are these options. We've got comfort trips as well that are listed as such. And some trips you can't upgrade the option. Sorry, you can't upgrade, and we'll tell you that, and we'll tell you why. And usually it's because the properties are already fabulous.
Yep, exactly. And I think these pictures here are actually from our special Paradors Camino experience trip. So it's where you
Mm.
stay in old, really heritage listed side of accommodation on the Camino. So it's definitely a unique experience, isn't it, Ali?
Yes, and that's a good one to point out because if someone was saying to me that they wanted something really special and they wanted to upgrade, accommodations, that is one of the ones that I would recommend, or a, a choice of different trips depending on which region of Europe they're looking at. But we do have ones right away that we can say this would be a great option for you, knowing that you want those upgrade properties.
Yep, exactly. Number 5. How do I stay en route during my self-guided trip?
Right. So, as I said, I've been here for 10 years, and back in the day when I started doing our trips, it was all route books and maps. We do still provide those for many of our trips, but all of the trips have apps these days, and they're just incredible. I most recently used one of our apps when I was in Romania doing our self-guided Transylvania castles and mountains this summer, and it was fabulous. It would give me a ping to say you're 30 meters off track, or turn right here, turn left here. There was no way I was going to get lost. So yeah, they're a real asset.
Yeah, and they do work offline. And one tip for using these apps is to actually just bring a portable charger. It's probably a good trip just anywhere in Europe while you're traveling is to you don't never want to get caught without your phone, so make sure you always have a charged battery. Yeah. What are my options as a solo traveler?
Solo travelers have a variety of options. So if you want to join a group and you're a bit more budget conscious, then maybe an alpine trip would be a good option. There you're staying in the dormitory, so you don't have to pay any single supplement or solo traveler fees. Or joining other small group tours that we have, we might be able to pair you with another traveler of the same gender. So you could note twin share as your preference. If your preference is to have your own rooms, then you can note single rooms. And then with our self-guided trips, if you're traveling solo, you are looking at paying a solo traveler supplement. And that means that you're paying to have your own rooms and all of the services of the trip just for yourself on your chosen date. So everything operating for you, including the luggage transfer services, any extra transfers, etc.
Yeah, it is actually. I've got another slide here that is a bit of a tricky one that people sometimes get caught up on. But yeah, just to kind of reiterate what Ali just said, the single supplement relates to when multiple travelers are on a trip together and they want individual rooms, such as when Tom, Mary, and Jane are walking in the Cotswolds. Tom and Mary are sharing the room, and Jane needs her own room, so she would pay a single supplement. Whereas if you are getting a solo traveler supplement, this applies if you're just going solo. And it's because our self-guided trips are based on twin share accommodation. For instance, when Tom is traveling in the Cotswolds by himself, he'll need his own room and his own luggage transfers. So you'll need to pay a solo traveler supplement. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And just on that note as well, it's really common to get asked what trips would be good for a first-time solo walker, self-guided solo walker. So we're always happy to give suggestions. They would be routes that either like pilgrim routes are great because there's lots of other people on the trail. They're really well waymarked. Center-based holidays where you get to know your base really well, and then you can do day walks from there. Or walks that have shorter durations so that you're never too far from a town or pass, such as an example would be the Southwest Coastal Path in the UK, where although the day walk might be longer in terms of kilometers, you are going through little villages or inlets, farmlands, so you're always close to humanity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, Ali, important one. Can give us a bit of an overview about the trip gradings?
Yes, our trips are graded 1 through 5. So 1 being introductory, 5 being challenging, 3 being a moderate. And we're always here to chat, about the best grading for you. Perhaps if you like a trip that's a grade 4, that's graded moderate to challenging, but you're worried that that might be too difficult for you, then we could see if we have a Rambler version, which generally has shorter kilometers, less walking distances, or perhaps we can talk about using an e-bike if it's a cycle trip, or maybe adding in rest days, those kind of things. So we're always here to make sure that you're finding the trip that best fits what you feel capable of and what you'll enjoy.
Exactly. And if you're kind of concerned about whether you will be too fit or not for it, just ring us up, have a chat about what your kind of current ability is, and we'll kind of be able to say, oh, yes, you should be able to do that, or maybe suggest a different trip for you to do.
Yeah, we do also pick up if it might be too easy for you. And then if you might want more of a challenge.
Yeah, yeah. What's the rule? Generally, the fitter you are, the more fun you have anyway. So you don't want to be
Yeah.
huffing and puffing the whole way through. So
No.
yeah. Guided trips. How many people are in a group?
Ooh, it really varies. Our guided walks are typically around 14. Um, However, then if we're looking at a boat trip, because that picture is of a barge holiday, those range as well. So we have some small barge. A small barge would be from our smallest being 12, the next smallest about 22. That's considered a small group barge trip. With larger barges being up to, about 36 to even 150. The larger boats are on the Danube and are Amsterdam to Bruges. So group sizes really vary, but typical guided um, walking holiday, small group walking holiday, will be 14 people.
Yeah. And the people on these trips are generally like-minded and really lovely. Like I remember on my Croatia bike and boat tour, it was just very easy to get along with other people. Range of demographics and backgrounds and ages, but yeah, everyone was able to sit down at during meal times and have a nice chat. And yeah, everyone was loving being there and talking about seeing Croatia and getting active. So yeah, it's a
Yeah.
really nice community.
And I've met a number of new hiking friends on our guided trips who I've done more and more trips with, just from meeting. So it's
Hmm,
a nice way to um, share what you love doing.
exactly. Okay, so what's the process of booking a trip?
Mm-hmm. Uh, Bookings are made online with the online booking form. It's a really simple process. It takes about 5 minutes, just filling out some personal details and then paying a deposit at the end of that. If it's a self guided trip, we're then requesting all of your trip services, and it usually takes around 7 business days just to book everything in. We have to wait to hear back from all of the hotels and maybe our bike partner, maybe the luggage transfer company, etc. So it's a bit like piecing together a puzzle, and then we confirm that self guided trip to you. With the guided trips and the barges, it's a really quick confirmation. So booking online, calling us beforehand if you have any questions, and then you're booked.
Yep, easy. Yep, and that leads us into our next question, which is how far in advance do I need to book?
The further in advance, the better. Um, I'm sure Will in marketing is about to mention our sale. But yeah, no, with the self guided trips, because all of the accommodation is subject to availability and it goes on request, the sooner you can book, the better chance we have of getting into our preferred properties. And with the guided trips and especially the barges, they fill up super fast. So if you want to get your preferred date or preferred cabin type, single room on that guided trip at whatever, then do book sooner rather than later.
Yeah, what are the current hotspots? I think it's the Mont Blanc self-guided, the Dolomites, the Danube barge trips.
Mm-hmm.
They're all ridiculously hard already, even though it's for next year.
Any of the barge trips, especially our small barges, so Provence, Veneto, Burgundy, Scotland. These are all super popular. And like I said, if they only take 12 to 22 people on a barge, they're booking out quick.
Yeah, yeah, the word is out. Um, but yeah, it is obviously now the early bird is on, and it's just been extended to the 20th of October, which is a Monday. So you've got 2 more weekends to kind of finalize anything if you need to. Cool. Okay, well that's the 10 most commonly asked questions. Hopefully, if you do have anything that we haven't covered yet, please type it in the box down below. We have had someone ask, they're wanting to do a walking trip 4 or 5 days in the UK, but they want to limit it to about 8 to 10 Ks per day.
Mm-hmm.
Can we tailor something like this?
We can, and we actually already have a range of trips called our Taste ofs that are in the UK. So, for example, a taste of the Cotswolds, a taste of the Southwest Coastal Path, a taste of the Coast to Coast, the Great Glen Way. There's so many of them. So, they're designed for people who have a shorter amount of time to spend on their walking holiday and who are wanting shorter distances as well. So just an easygoing pace, nice accommodation, a short little mini break holiday walking. Mhm.
Yep, they're proving very popular, the taste of
Yeah.
British trails. Um, Another someone has asked, how old are the demographics, or how old are the other travelers?
Yeah. So our average, our medium age traveler is typically between, I would say, early 50s to early 70s. So it does vary quite a bit. We get younger travelers on the alpine trips simply because they're more challenging and a really good price point as well. And we've got travelers that are even into their 80s. It's incredible. It doesn't age doesn't really matter. It's about your fitness and that you love doing this kind of active holiday.
Yep, yep. If you're young at heart as well, that makes all the difference, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There are certainly some of our trips that I know a lot of 20 and 30-year-olds would not be able to do, but yeah, you get the people that kind of surprise you and just yeah gallop along. So yeah, age is not a factor at all.
No.
Um, okay, I've got a question here from Leanne. So if they wanted to extend a few days mid-walk, is that possible? Like for instance on the Camino?
Yeah, so that's what we call adding in rest days. You know, you don't have to be resting. It can be because this place is really interesting and there's a lot of sightseeing to be done, that kind of thing. So um, you can always stop for a couple of days and you can pick back up, or you can add rest days maybe every week if you're doing a longer duration walk, or one or two throughout a week. It's good to consider if it would how much it would break up the flow of the walk. Yeah, but it's certainly possible to add rest days, and we can always recommend where the best places to do that are.
Yeah, for sure. Um, yeah, when I did my Camino, it was definitely it does break up the trip rather than walking every single day. Just have a few days because you are passing through some really nice old historic and interesting cities. So you kind of
Yeah,
do just want a day just to not just to rest and recover, but just also just explore the city and have a nice um, coffee and cake and things like that. So
I would
mm,
say one of the comments that we do get a lot is people saying that they wish they'd taken more time just to soak it all up and enjoy the experience, because if you're doing something like, for example, maybe the full Portuguese Camino or the full uh, Via Francigena, you're only going to be doing that typically once in a lifetime. So it is nice to really take your time and enjoy it. Uh,
yeah, just a follow-up question on that one. Is it possible to do it once you've started the walk?
no. So rest days must be requested in advance because they affect the subsequent nights booked in. When we receive the booking form, we are booking in all of those hotels and they are firm bookings. Um, so it's at the time of booking that you must let us know if you want any rest days.
Yeah. And again, if I guess if you aren't sure about where's the common places where people take rests, it's probably a good idea to get in touch with us and we can recommend what most people do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and I guess this is a probably a good time to ask, like, what happens if you aren't making the daily distances and your hotel's booked, but you're 5Ks away.
Yeah, so I mean that can happen. Like, let's say you've got some really bad blisters, you've got a headache, you're not feeling well, whatever, and you decide you want to skip a day. That's no problem. These distances typically are not too far. Maybe 25 kilometers in a taxi. It's not a huge cost. Or talking to the hotel who knows that area really well, or giving our emergency number a call and just asking what the best option is for perhaps a bus or a train. If you've got a bike, you can usually bring your bike on the train, etc. There's typically always a way to skip a day, and then you can be at your accommodation, have your rest, and continue on.
Yeah, easy. Good question here from Rebecca. She's asked, with our itineraries, is it possible to do it in reverse? So, for example, we've got our Berlin to Copenhagen cycle tour. Are you able to do it from Copenhagen to Berlin?
Typically, no, because and for that specific trip, no, because our luggage transfer services are operating only in the one direction. And therefore, we've also written our detailed itinerary notes and the maps and made our GPS app for that one direction as well. But it's usually based around what the luggage transfers are running. Um, when I'm asked that question, I'll always have a look at the trains or the transport to say, where do you need to be before and after? Why is that question being asked? How do we then get you from it finishing in the opposite end to where you need to be? And typically it's a pretty quick train ride depending on the itinerary.
Yeah, but best again, it's always best to give us a call and say, hey, I want to do A to B or B to C, and Ali and the team can always sort you out or recommend something similar in the vicinity as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I hope that answered your question there, Beck. Rebecca. If anyone's got any more questions, please feel free to type them in the little Q&A box down below. But we've got one from Tom. He's asked, he's going on a hiking trip. What should I be bringing on the hiking trip, gear
Right.
wise? Yeah.
Gear wise, yeah. So it depends on the hiking trip, but usually I always recommend a good pair of boots, perhaps walking poles, especially if it's alpine. Those can really help. Good wet weather gear is essential. You don't want to be caught in a downpour. It'll really affect your enjoyment for the rest of the day. Um, we do have a detailed packing list in our pre-departure information that everyone gets on confirmation of their trip, and that's trip specific. So that gear list will help you with making your packing plans and buying any purchases.
Yeah, and wear them in as well. Always make sure
Mm.
you're not wearing fresh boots. Make sure you've actually trained on it a bit so you get them nice and no blisters on the actual day itself. Um, thanks, thanks for that one. We've got a question from Lisa here. She's asking, when is the best time to be exploring in Europe?
There's, I mean, Europe's always great. We typically run trips from April to October. There might be some early March departures and some that go into the winter as well. We've got some winter range trips on our website, but I personally love going May, early June for the spring flowers and cooler weather, as well as September, October again for the cooler weather, sort of avoiding July and August if possible because of the heat. However, it depends where you're going. Obviously, places like that are further north, UK, Sweden, Iceland, Norway, great destinations for July, August, Scotland as well. And if you're up in the Alps as well, fantastic time to be hiking on Mont Blanc, the Dolomites, all of the Haute Route, Grand Prairie. So all of those alpine walks are quite nice in the mid of summer as well.
Yeah, exactly. Last couple of questions. What sort of training should people be doing ahead of these trips?
Yeah, it ranges from trip to trip, but typically about 3 months before your cycle trip or your walking holiday, you want to be making sure that you're doing a bit of training so that you enjoy the trip more. So that could be, I usually recommend, 3 to 4 times a week doing some type of cardio. It's a good idea to be doing some of the activity that you will be doing, be it walking or cycling, but it could also be swimming, running, kickboxing class, that kind of thing. Anything to get your heart rate up and work on that cardio. Again, about 3 to 4 times a week is a good idea. If you're doing, for example, an alpine walk, we can talk to you more about specific training that we recommend for the mountains, which would be more like your steps, your stairmaster, longer distances, etc. Maybe some training with a bit of weight in a backpack, even though on the day that you're there, you're only carrying what you need, but that helps with the pre-training.
Yep. And if you forgot to do any cycling training, just get an e-bike. Easy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, e-bikes are great. Okay, cool. Well, there's just one last question then, and that's Ali. I've got to ask you. This is from me. What's your what's your best thing to bring on the trip that people forget?
Oh gosh. Um, I mean, I never travel without my phone because I love to take photos. I know that's a very obvious thing. And to water bottles. I like to have a water bladder for ease of sipping because I'm someone who forgets to drink water throughout the day. And then I like to have my spare water bottle, which would have a hydrolate in it, especially if I'm doing the trips in the summer months, which I have been the past couple of years. One more thing, a bandana or a UTracks buff, dip it in a lake, a river, stream, have it cool around my neck. Those are, yeah, things that
Yeah,
I cannot do without.
that is good. And for
What
myself,
would yours be, Will? Yeah.
well, uh, bringing a little Tupperware container actually, because
Snacks important.
snacks, so often when you be stopping in at a farmer's market, you might get some raspberries or a
Mm,
baguette, and you eat half of it, and you just want to be able to carry the other half with you, and it's going to go soggy all through your bag. But if you've got a little Tupperware container, all problem solved. So,
that's a good
um,
one.
yeah. And secret bonus question, Ali, where do you plan on going next year? What's on the top of your travel list?
Oh, well, I am planning for my long service leave. As everyone in the office knows, I keep talking about it. And I will be walking a couple of weeks on the Portuguese coastal Camino, which I'm very excited about. I'll be doing the hot route and a little bit of time walking in the Cotswolds as well.
My gosh, that sounds lovely.
Yeah.
Awesome. Great. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. We will be sending a replay of this if anyone that wasn't able to make it here tonight, if you'd like to send that to them. And it is just the early bird sale is on. It's been extended till the 20th of October. So there's another. I know people were kind of panicking a bit trying to get all their ducks in a row, but you've got another 10 days or so to get your trips locked in. And if you do have any other questions, feel free to email us. We've got offices in Sydney, Auckland, Ottawa in Canada, and London in the UK. So you can always give us a ring at your local UTracks team, and we'll be happy to answer these questions and talk more specifically to your needs. Cool. Thank you. Thanks, Ellie, for your time,
Thanks, Will.
and see you guys around. See you on the
Bye.
trails. Bye.